Hello and welcome to Blinkers Off. It's great to be back for our second show of Season 7. And what a show we got lined up for you today. And joining me on the panel is big-time footy coach and form analyst Ben Perkins and up-and-coming trainer Chris Anderson. Firstly, Ben, great racing at Randwick and welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, it's get your betting boots on, and it's going to be a better track this week. Last week they said it was going to be heavy. It wasn't heavy.
No.
It wasn't even slow. It was dead. So we all did the form for a heavy track in the wet trackers. In the past, let's move forward to this week, and I think we can win.
And it's a great racing. We've got the Champagne Stakes, the All-Aged at Randwick. We've got the Robert Sangster at Adelaide. And up in Brisbane, we've got the Victory Stakes and the Gun Sin. Great racing. And Chris, welcome.
Thanks, Jess. Good to be here.
Mate, it's great to have you on the show. Now, you're an up-and-coming trainer, and I'm sure we'll get a little insight into your occupation later on.
First time on TV, so very happy to be here today. Thank you.
And next time, Brothers Rugby Boy.
Yeah, spent a bit of time at Brothers with Ben, and formed some great relationships down there, and I've actually brought a few into racing, which is good too.
So you're not going to don the shirt for the Wallabies, you'll stick to the racetrack?
I lacked a lot of ability on the field, unfortunately, but hopefully I've got some more ability to show as a trainer.
All right, now we're going to get into it. And the first race we're going to look at Randwick is the Champagne Stakes, and Ben, over the mile. How do you see the race panning out?
Well, I think Gerald Ryan, he's in form. All his runners are going very well. I like Buckman. I think the way it's been going, and I think the big track's going to suit it. I think it's going to be hard to beat. Peggy Jean, the stablemate, it had the hard run on the heavy track, so I just wonder whether that took a bit out of him. Buckman's had 3 weeks off to get ready for this. I like Buckman to beat Peggy Jean. Vervalicious. Now, it won over the mile last start in pretty decent fashion, I thought, and Scratch Me Lucky has the Buckman Peggy Jean form, but I reckon one of those top 3 will win it.
You know, it looks like those top 2 or 3 will be very hard to beat. Ben, Chris, you've had a look a bit of the form. You obviously do the form as a trainer, not so much probably Sydney form, but do you look at these major races as a
absolutely.
trainer?
I aspire to have a horse in these races at some stage in my career, and hopefully it's not too far away, but in this occasion, I'll stick with Benon Buckman and Gerald Ryan and Hugh Bowman in superb form, and how can you go past those two? You know,
Hughie Bowman, after riding the Derby winner on Criterion, and for David Payne, is in good form.
I think Hughie Bowman, I think he's riding Sedcom in race 1 too, over 1,400 metres.
Sedcom. Hey, horse and carriage, horse and carriage.
Show some respect.
Hey? Respect, please. It's cost the viewers plenty. Oh. Now we're going to look at the Guns in here up in Brisbane. I like number 9 here, Seguro, from the Peter Moody stable. This horse has come up. It's by Savabeel. The biggest query with these horses in this race is whether they'll be able to run a strong mile. This horse has won over a mile. It's got the pedigree. It's by Savabeel. I like horses that are bred to stay over the mile. And I think with Jimmy Byrne in the saddle, barrier 6, this will be very hard to beat. There's not going to be a lot of speed in the race, and Eagle Farm. Chris, you train at Eagle Farm. How do you see? Is there usually a track bias, do you find, at these tracks, or it'll run pretty evenly?
Oh, look, good question. We've had a lot of rain about of late, and there's been a lot of speculation with Eagle Farm over the last, I don't know how many years or months we could talk
20.
about. 20.
Make it 30, huh?
Look, in their defence, the track's been down there for 135 years, I think.
Yeah.
It was quoted the other day. So, look, I'm certainly not going to be critical of anyone who looks after the tracks. In fact, I think they do a wonderful job with what they've been given. So, I'll stay out of that argument.
Yeah. Now, we looked at the Guns in. I like number 3, Bodegra Negra, from the Bruce Hill stable. There's not a lot of speed in this race, and I'm going to find that these horses that are bred, that race on the pace, they're going to be there, and I think they'll start to sprint at the 600 and really put in hard. And I like the Peter Moody horses. They're always fit, Ben. They're always hard. They're always in the top 3, and they seem to kick at the furlong.
Well,
bit better than the Waller horses, I find.
I don't think so. No,
I'd rather be Moody and Waller at the 100. Who want you be on?
I'd rather be on the Waller horse myself.
Not Sedcom.
Waller.
Hey, horse.
I'm a Waller man.
Nah, I like Mick Price myself. How about Chris Anderson? Chris, the Guns in over the mile.
Yeah, I read a story this morning in the Courier Mail with Olympic Anthem and Rob Heathcote. Michael Cole goes on, and I read that Rob has a pretty big opinion of this horse, and I certainly think it's a horse on the rise. And yeah, I'm going to stick with him. I think it's a horse you can look out for in the future.
Is it? All right, so there you have a couple of horses to look out to. And Ben, how's things been in general, huh?
Well, I'm brilliant. I'll tell you what, Chris Anderson here. Now, this guy has got genuine ability. He's got a horse called Prince of Bel-Air, which, like Larry just rode it like a car the other day and just pulled away from them. And is it Uma Saga?
Yeah, a horse called Yuma Saga. It's by Real Saga, obviously, out of a mare called Yuma Gold. Yeah. Believe it or not, the mare was the first horse that Moody and Nolan had together as a winning partnership. So, yeah, it's got a lovely pedigree, and Real Saga obviously standing out at Glenlogan Park, doing some really good things.
I did like its galloping action. It was on a wet track, but you could see the horse really wanted to be able to... I think it's a horse worth following.
Yeah, definitely. We've certainly got a big rap on it, and unfortunately we went there expecting a slow 6. We get there and it doesn't stop raining. We go out on a heavy 9, first up, carrying 59. The horse never got balanced at any stage. It's a big horse, over 17 hands. If I had my time again, I probably would have scratched. But look, he'll certainly benefit from the run. We put winkers on. He sort of just got a little bit lost in the straight, we thought. So, but yeah, if that horse can stay sound, he's certainly got a bright future.
Can you just tell me one question? You see horses here, they race with the blinkers, then the winkers. What's the major difference?
I think that's
like if you're a punter, and you look at a horse and it's got blinkers first time, how much of a difference does it make?
Oh, it can make a phenomenal difference. I had a horse I jumped out a fortnight ago. I thought it was quite disappointing, and worked it in blinkers and jumped it out 2 weeks later. And, it probably put 3 or 4 lengths on it. It can just make them really, really focus and keep their mind on the job. It's amazing how much difference it can make.
So there's one thing to look out for. Look out for any gear changes, blinkers on. Always a good sign that you might see a bit of improvement in your horse, except said Con. Nothing can improve him.
Mate, we might put the blinkers on him very shortly.
Nothing, he's out the door. All right, we're going to go to a commercial, and straight after we're going to preview the All-Age Stakes, the Victory Stakes, and take a look at one galloping down at Eagle Farm that sure that Chris might lead you into. There we go, back after the break. You can visit magicmillions.com.au. The online catalogue is now online for the broodmare and weanling sale that's taking place. So visit the website magicmillions.com.au and check out the catalogue. There might be a nice little weanling or broodmare the yearling you might be interested in purchasing. Chris, you're going to head to the sale down there and the yearling sale, might get a few?
Absolutely, I'll be there for sure. I try and get to all the sales if I can. Certainly on the eastern seaboard, I went down to Sydney this year and bought a couple at the Classic Sale, the English Classic Sale, and bought a few at the Cuter Sale quite recently as well. So,
that's good.
Always got to be very...
Have you got Peter Lavin in your pocket?
No, I've got Mark Thompson actually. He's a more important player these days in the in the racing world. But no, look, I've got some great owners. I'm very fortunate in that regard coming on board, so very happy.
We're just going to cut shortly. We're going to get to you and have a look at down the track. We're now going to look at the All Age, but just before we do, just a bit of racing news from around the country. It's a done deal. It's been confirmed. Is going to Arrowfield Stud. Will stand for $27,500 service fee. Donna Logan, the trainer of Rising Romance, has a horse back in New Zealand that she's going to bring over for the Queensland Oaks called Telepathic. Keep an eye on it. As well, Sacred Falls might be heading to Royal Ascot for a trip over there with the hope of not only winning, but this is to increase his price as a dual hemisphere stallion. And Shamal Wind galloped brilliantly last Saturday at Flemington prior to the Robert Sangster. Might be worth $1 each way. And Michael Rod reunites with Villaferda in the Robert Sangster. So that might be a little Quinella. Now, Ben, the All-Age Stakes, great race.
It's a tough race too. Like Rebel Dane, not one of my horses. I've never really backed the horse, but it does go very well fresh the first couple of runs. Comes back after that heavy track performance when it ran a good second.
Yeah.
So,
it was a good run.
Yeah, so maybe it can win. I put the 3-year-old Woodbine in. Like, I know it's risky, but I think back on top of the ground, it'll race up in the first 4.
You might see a slightly different form reversal with the better track.
Well, you just might, you see. That's what I'm trying. And Waterhouse at Randwick, you know what I mean? Fantastic affinity, steps in time. Now, it also drops back from like 1,500 metres on a heavy track and goes forward.
1,400 on a good surface.
Yeah, so like I think it could be right in the race. And like Hannah's Goal, the Japanese horse. Yeah. Now its runs whilst been
I backed it last start.
It's been beaten
too far out of its ground. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what was happening there. It got way back on a track where it suited front runners. But will the 1,400 be too short for it?
Well, it depends how much pace is on there. I just thought it might flash a bit late and maybe get 3rd or 4th at 20 to 1 for your tricks.
But the 1,400 at Randwick's an easy 1,400. It's not a strong, true 1,400. Now County won at 1,400.
No, I know you say that, but in big races, 1,400 metres is not an easy race. It's like the Stradbroke. When you got a big race on, the pace is on, but in the other races, it's a jog and see you later. And I love them. They're the best race to bet on of all of 1,400 metre races.
Ben, Chris, have you got one in all aged? If you were just to pick one, if you were going to train one?
Yeah, look, for me, can I just say, Benny, we were talking off air, and mate, you're just a form student, mate. Unbelievable how you keep the knowledge of what you keep.
I don't know anything else. I'm an idiot.
It's phenomenal. You've got no sheets of paper, no newspapers. You've brought nothing in the studio.
I've got no idea. Believe me.
How do you do it?
I don't.
Unbelievable.
It's mirrors.
Anyway, whatever he does, I'm going to stick with. In fact, I'm going to ring in every Saturday and get your best of the day because it's mate, your tipping is unbelievable.
Leaguesoff.com.au.
Steps in time for me.
Yeah.
Joe Pride and Jimmy Cassidy. I think they can get the chocolates.
Righto, now Chris, we were down at the track on Tuesday morning. You got a lovely few horses in the camp. We're going to look at one now down at the track. It galloped. How's the training coming along, and how long have you been training for?
Yeah, look, just over 2 years now. I've been very, very fortunate in my career that my cousin was a trainer, my uncle, my grandfather, so I've been probably nurtured in the background in terms of what I've got to know. So, look, 2 years ago I decided to go out on my own and have a crack, and I'm probably very unknown in the racing industry at this stage. Definitely. But look, I'm based on course at Eagle Farm. I've got a barn there of horses, a lot of young horses, a lot of 2-year-olds, a lot of unraced 2-year-olds, some 3-year-olds, and
we're just looking at one on screen now. Galloped beautifully on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I've got a nice horse that won at the Gold Coast on Monday. On the public holiday, a horse called Prince of Bel Air. I think it's a very progressive horse. I think it's a horse that, horses to me that can really sit in behind the speed and just really show a nice sort of turn of foot and sort of sprint away from the field. Just sort of shows a touch of class, and I think he has that. It's a sort of horse, if we can try, look, prize money might be the issue, but if we can, Larry got off and said, look, this horse is worth throwing a nomin for the Gold Coast Guineas over 1,400 metres. We might be biting off more than we can chew, but, why not?
You've got to shoot high, don't you?
Of course you do.
Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, we're halfway there.
Absolutely, but look, really nice work there at Doomben on Tuesday. One of my riders and Larry Cassidy there worked very nicely, and really happy with them.
Now, Chris, you hear over and over again the hardest thing about racing is training owners. How's that been for you?
Great, really. Yeah. I've got a wonderful group of owners. I'm very lucky. Look, I started 2 years ago with one leased horse, and now I've got probably close to 30, with probably over 100 owners mixed together. So I've worked very, very hard to get there. A lot of them are untried horses, so I'm still yet to get the runs on the board. But look, wonderful owners. I suppose social media and email and those sorts of things now are so different to what they were 5, 10, 15 years ago. So it does make it a lot easier for us in terms of keeping owners up to date and in tune with what's going on. So
I think the reason you're going to be successful, I think you can train. I think you've got ability.
Thanks, Benny.
That's what's going to make you all right.
Yeah, well, the best thing at the end of the day, what's going to get your horses is winners.
Absolutely.
There's no two ways about it. Winners and winners. Everyone loves a winner.
Absolutely. And look, I'm having success to date, and hopefully the success can continue. But look, without the owner, I've got nothing. So thanks to all my owners, and bring on more, hopefully.
Right on, there we go. And now if you want to get in contact with Chris, you can contact us through our website or go to his website, chrisanderson.com, is it?
No.
No.
andersonracing.com.au.
There you have it, andersonracing.com.au for all your syndications and get to know Chris a little bit better. Now after the commercial, we're going to talk sports and look at the Victory Stakes. Okay, it's sports talk and there's plenty to get through. We've got AFL, NRL, boxing and rugby union. And Ben, Port versus Adelaide. But first of all, Alex Leapai is fighting in the world title. A boy from Logan, attacked the referee, went to jail for assault, found God. Now he's fighting for the world title in Germany on Saturday night.
Well, I'll tell you, the last time I saw dear little Alec was down at the Pinken Bar Hotel with the Walker brothers, and
I wouldn't know what was going on.
Well, it was all good. That was all good. The dancing girls were there, and so was Alec. Happy times.
Now that will sound like great times, and we wish him all the best over in Germany on Saturday. Saturday night he's fighting their time, so it'll be Sunday morning, 6 o'clock approximately. Tune in. He's been training up at Gatton, north of Brisbane, about 2 hours. So a boy from Logan of Samoan descent. So we wish him all the best. Now the game of the week in AFL, Port Adelaide and Geelong. Righto. So now Ben, your team Port, they stink. They're low end.
They stink.
They stink. They're not worthy of even getting a mention. But it is game of the week. How are they going to go against the Cats?
They'll go well, and the reason they'll go well is that Hawthorn didn't really do much against them last week, but it was such a big game emotionally. Like there will be some sort of come downance, and Port Adelaide, Adelaide Oval. A lot of the Geelong players never played there before, like all of them. So Port will have that distinct advantage, probably worth 2 or 3 goals. I give Port a blowout chance.
Tell me Adelaide Oval, what's it like? You being an Adelaide boy and all, what's it like? Is it a crappy track?
I'm a member.
Is it a good track? Is it a small track? Is it a big track?
It's beautiful.
Oh, a bit like myself, huh?
No, nothing like you at all. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think they do have a problem with the shadows coming across the ground. They should use it as a night venue. It'll be absolutely stunning because I hate the shadows.
Yeah, all right. Well, so you tip and Port. Now as well, Marley Williams got a suspended sentence. We'll be back for the Pies very shortly. Glenn Stewart from the NRL, he signs with South Sydney for 2 years, as well as Benji Marshall. He wants to quit Union and get back to league. Who will he play for? Well, I'm sure the Tigers won't have him back. Anyway, game of the round for the NRL. Tigers versus the Titans, first and fourth, and it's going to be a great game. Yeah, no, the Titans are doing all right. The Titans are doing surprisingly well. I think the Tigers might pack a bit too much punch here. I think their backs will outrun the Titans, and I think the forwards might be a bit too strong. So I've got the West Tigers on top. Now, Chris, you're a bit of a rugby man. You follow the Super League. How do you see the Super League, and who do you see panning out on top?
Benny, can you help me out here, because I've become one of the...
Just don't say Canterbury.
I've honestly become one of the world's worst tipsters. I cannot tip a winner as far as any card is concerned, AFL, rugby or rugby league.
Can I be your bookie? That's not a joke, mate. It's a serious question.
Righto.
Just donate.
When he's got a good runner, he'll give you a call.
I know. Mate. We backed his horse last week, Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, what price you get?
$2.10.
Into $1.70. Got the chocolates?
Got on early.
No, well.
Did he sling you anything?
Nothing yet. Still waiting. There'll be something there, surely.
Now also we've got the games of the rounds in the Intrust Cup. The game of the week's the Redcliffe Dolphins versus the Ipswich Jets. No, sorry, it's the Redcliffe Dolphins following the Ipswich Jets at the Dolphin Oval. In the VFL, we've got the Williamstown versus Port Melbourne. That's game of the week down there, 2 p.m, Sunday at Burbank Oval. And as well, New South Wales Rugby League, the new Wyong Roos are versing the Mounties. Looks to be a top-of-the-table clash there at Mary Bean Oval.
Wait a
3 p.m. Sunday.
Wait a sec. Ben Walker and Shane Walker, Ipswich Jets, told me they're living certainties this week. They said jump on board.
Oh, well, they're away to the Dolphins.
No, they're good tipsters, the Shane and Ben.
Well, there you have it, the Ipswich Jets Dolphin Oval. If you can get on, good luck. Now we're going to just take a quick look, Chris, at the Victory Stakes over the 1200. Snitzerland, Temple of Boom, Spirit of Boom, Souls and Itzen, famous Seamus River Lad. Great field.
Wonderful field. It's a really exciting time for Brisbane at the moment, just coming into the Winter Carnival. And, it's a great 6 weeks. It really is. And there's a real buzz about Eagle Farm at the moment. I'm sure as per all racetracks in southeast Queensland, they're a buzz. But look, Spirit of Boom for me. Put him on top. Yeah, no, I myself, I think he's the class horse in the race. I do have a question. Does travelling take it out of him? Too much out of him? Like he's been to Perth, he's now in Melbourne. Been to Melbourne, now he's back here. It's quite a bit of travelling for a unique, for a horse. Without any shadow of a doubt, and it does take it out of them. I think trainers are certainly getting better methods and are certainly understanding travelling horses a lot better than what they used to in the past. And look, all credit to Queensland trainers. They've been very, very successful in all carnivals to date, and had a wonderful spring carnival this year. Now, would Queensland jockeys be more successful than Queensland trainers? Because there've been some very successful Queensland jockeys. Oh, absolutely. And getting back to the trainers, let's get back to the trainers, eh? But look, Tony Gollan, Rob Heathcote, Dan Begore, Liam Birchley, Kelly Schwitter, they've all taken horses down south and they've all had a multitude of success, and I think they do a great job, and I think it's something that's really understated in the industry, to be honest. I think they need more credit than what they actually get. Righto, Ben, your best bet on the program. Looks to be quite a sort of open day of racing.
I think Noidart in Sydney, first up for Snowden, it's had about 11 weeks off, I think, and Noidart, it's got the Lankan Rupee form lines.
It's very strong.
No, very
strong.
It should be too good at Randwick, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be hard to beat. My best bet for the day is to back the Crusaders to win the Super League. I think that is a great bet. And I also like, what are you coughing for, hey? You got some disease or something? Hey?
Oh, you can't say
Crusaders
that.
To win.
Crusade, what?
Now, have you got any runners over the weekend, Chris, or we got some coming up in the future? Yeah, got a few coming up. Got a couple, one of the Sunny Coast actually drew the Visitors Alley in 20, so unlikely we'll go there. But got a couple coming up next week in town as well, so stay tuned. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us on the show, and look forward to having you on in the future. It's been great. Hope to be back again. Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Ben, always a pleasure.
When you're really?
Normal. Yeah. Now, remember, go to the website www.blinkersoff.com.au and also download the app RIQ Best Bets for all your tips, all your news, and you can also watch the show online on the app. And remember, visit themagicmillions.com for the online catalogue for the Magic Millions, weanlings, yearlings and broodmare sale. Well, that's all we have news for you for tonight. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week. Same place, same time. Bye for now.